Hey there. Ever find yourself daydreaming? Thinking about what you'd do if you had a superpower, or where you'd go if you could just teleport anywhere. Well, the way our language handles those big what if questions is this incredible tool, and today we are going to unlock it together.
All right, let's just jump right in with a classic daydream. I want you to really think about this question. What would you do if you won the lottery? Come on, be honest. Would you travel the world, buy that dream car, quit your job and start a new business? Just by answering that in your head, well, guess what? You've already used the exact piece of grammar we're breaking down today. It's called the second conditional, and it's our key to talking about all those amazing possibilities. So what is this thing exactly? Put simply, the second conditional is our go-to tool for anything hypothetical or imaginary. It's not about what is true, it's about what could be true if things were just a little different. It's basically your official license for imagination. So let's dive in. I like to call this the what-if tense because, well, that's exactly what it does. It lets us play around with scenarios that aren't real right now, but are definitely fun to think about. And man, it is so versatile. Just think about all the things it lets us do. We can daydream about something totally impossible, if I were a bird. Or we can give really practical, solid advice, if I were you. We can even explore futures that probably won't happen or imagine completely different realities. It's a seriously powerful part of our language. Okay, so how do we actually build it? The great news is there's a super simple and really consistent formula. Let's take a look at the blueprint. Every single second conditional sentence has two parts. The first bit is the if part. That's your imaginary condition. It uses a past tense verb, like if I had more money. The second part is the result, and that's where would comes in. I would buy a new car. So you've got the condition and the result. That's the whole formula right there. And here's a quick tip on punctuation. If you kick off the sentence with if, you just pop a comma right in the middle. If it rained, we would stay at home. But if you flip the sentence around, you don't need a comma. We would stay at home if it rained. Simple as that. And here is a special and really important pro tip. When you're using the verb to be in that if clause, the grammatically correct form for all subjects, I, he, she, you, all of them, is were. So while you might hear people say, if I was you, the classic correct form is always, if I were you. It's like a secret handshake that signals you're deep in imaginary territory. So we've got the formula down. Now let's see it in action, taking it from pure fantasy to some very real, very practical advice. This is the perfect example of a purely imaginary situation. Am I a bird? Nope, but this sentence lets me explore that impossible idea and its amazing result. It's a brilliant way to show off the dreaming power of the second conditional. And here it is in its most common and probably most useful form, giving advice. When you say, if I were you, you're literally stepping into someone else's shoes for a moment, an imaginary situation, to offer your honest perspective. It's a polite but really strong way to make a recommendation. Now, would is our main player in the result clause, but we actually have a couple of power-ups we can use. These let us add a little more nuance to what we're saying. Let's talk about could and might. Just look at how these tiny words completely change the feeling. Would suggests a pretty certain result. Saying I would drive you is basically a promise. Could is more about ability or possibility. I could drive you means I'd have the option to. And might adds even more uncertainty. He might pass the exam tells us it's possible, but it is far from a sure thing. All right, you've seen the definition, you've got the formula, and you've got the power-ups. Now it's time for a quick tune-up just to put this tool to work. Take a look at this sentence. How would you fill in those blanks using our second conditional formula? The verbs are have and learn. I'll give you a second to think about it. And there's our answer. If she had more time, she would learn to play the piano. You remember the formula, right? The if part gets the past tense, so have becomes had. The result part gets would, so we get would learn. Perfect. So remember, this isn't just some boring grammar rule. It's a key. A key for unlocking imagination, for giving great advice, and for exploring whole new worlds. Now it's your turn. And to get you started, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. Using everything you just learned, where would you live if you could choose anywhere in the world? Thanks for joining this explainer.